I see more people joined, which is great. Whoever just joined, welcome. We are here connected with Leeds Conservatoire, and we're just about to start our live webinar. We're going to talk about music industry, and we're doing this with our panelists. So it's a great pleasure for me to welcome Colleen, Jez, and Taiwan, and they all going to tell you more about this great industry and the programs offered by Leeds Conservatoire, and also Victoria will be able to answer all the questions that you might have regarding the admission requirements. But I think we're ready to start with our presentation. So Colleen, I leave it the floor, and for all the questions, please use the Q&A box and we will be able to answer them throughout the presentation.
Thank you very much. Let me just, there we go. Welcome. Again, my name is Colleen Lloyd. I am the academic manager for music business at the Conservatoire. I am an academic myself. I've completed postgraduate degrees. My research looks at sort of music festival sponsorship and the art commerce sort of divide. And before that, in another lifetime, I worked in the live music industry for over 20 years, running venues as a stage manager, a production manager, tour manager, and lots of other things in between. And I'm joined today by Professor Jez Willis and my second year student, Taiwo. So again, please feel free to pop questions in the chat if I've said something and you want me to clarify, feel free to, pipe up and ask me what I mean. Some basic sort of facts about the Conservatoire, for any of you that are sort of unfamiliar with Leeds Conservatoire. We are leaders in the field. We were the first jazz degree in Europe that started in 1993. Our jazz degree is still going strong and still well regarded in the industry. And we were the first UK conservatoire to offer popular music and music production. We are the largest conservatoire in the UK, and we recently, in the past 5 years or so, added a school of drama. So not only our sort of performance pathways, we also house musical theatre, acting, actor-musicians, as well as a suite of master's degree looking at things like dramaturgy and musical theatre as well. We're England's only conservatoire with an all-Steinway status. So we've got lots of really nice pianos all throughout the conservatoire. And we've got lots of professional accreditations with things like Spotlight and James, which is central to sort of our music production pathway. And that's just sort of overall what we are. Why then, would you want to study music business at a conservatoire? And I think it's a pertinent question. Our graduates are known really around the world for their successes in the music and creative industries because we're a small specialist institution that caters to artists and creatives. Our music business students get a real sort of hands-on approach to working and managing in the industry. Our course is really at the cutting edge of industry and development, something that's, it's very important to me, and I know most of the staff that work on the program, to be preparing our students for the industry that exists now, not the industry that existed when we worked in it, not the industry that we wish still existed, not the industry that we think should exist, but the industry that actually exists, and really trying to think about, current and modern debates. And, sometimes I say the class that I teach, what I taught 8 years ago is completely different to what I'm teaching now, because that's how fast the sort of industry is moving and how fast things are changing. And our students are really the future taste and decision makers. A lot of our graduates have gone on to work in really rewarding careers throughout the industry, in things like artist management, working at labels, working in tour management, being entrepreneurs. A lot of my students go on to start their own businesses and manage their own sorts of portfolio careers. Oh, lost. And just some sort of stats on the UK music industry. I don't know, Jez, if you'd like to sort of chat about this, as it is your speciality.
Well, just to say that the music industry is very fast moving. You can see from the slide some of the numbers. COVID had a huge effect on the music industry, but it's bouncing back. And I'll touch more on kind of just to back up what Colleen was saying. The majority of staff, including myself, are part-time lecturers because the rest of the time they're professionals in the music industry. I've spent my whole life in the music industry, and I've only been lecturing for about 6 or 7 years now. But the rest of the time I'm out. I've run labels. I've written some hits. I'm still performing as a DJ, and from now until October, I'm out every weekend DJing at various festivals, clubs, and those kind of things. So I've been doing it a long time, and I've seen the music industry reinvent itself and recover from things like COVID. So there's been sort of quite a lot of threats to the music industry over the years, but it's very resilient and very adaptable. And one of the good things about the Conservatoire is that as an institution, we're very small and nimble, really. So we can adapt our courses very quickly to what's actually happening in the music business as you go through.
Yeah, I think that, and you know, it's something that I think we really try and impress, and we value the fact that our lecturers, that we're all out working in the industry. Like I say, we know what's going on, and we're able to give you that guidance and give you that support that you need. You know, like I say, to hopefully prepare you to enter into an industry that exists now. You know, in 20 years' time, you'll be the ones making all the decisions and changing it. What I do have is a bit of a video that our marketing team has made, and I think it chats to some of our staff and some of our students about sort of our program, and I think it encapsulates what we do well.
Everyone that I seemed to meet was ready for the music industry and hungry to be involved in the music industry.
I really like it. I like the mix of genres and musicians.
It's an amazing atmosphere to be in because you've got the classical people, you've got the producers, you've got the jazz people, you've got the pop singers. It's everything you need.
There's like a rich music scene. There's venues that are willing to work with you.
The music scene's great as well, it's so diverse.
The music business course is aimed primarily at anyone that's interested in working in the music industry and have a real passion for music.
We're a very creative bunch, we're a very entrepreneurial bunch.
So that could be anyone from musicians that play in their bands and want to know how to promote their bands better, to go on tour, to setting up events. Maybe it's DJs that want to run club nights. It could be people that are interested in music journalism or photography, or other people that are interested in social media.
In terms of preparation for your careers, Leeds College of Music offers the opportunity to not only study and research things in an academic way, but we have a lot of links to industry. Teachers on the course like myself, we run businesses in Leeds, we run businesses in the UK.
Some students tend to set up record labels, some students set up event companies, some students set up merchandise companies.
And you have the opportunity to be able to work with us and to learn from what we're doing, and also potentially get experience whilst you're doing it.
We really try and foster the entrepreneurial spirit.
It's not just about studying it, we're going to encourage you to actually get involved and do it yourself.
You get a one-to-one session, an hour a week, with an industry professional who will mentor you through your projects and really help you develop your ideas.
We literally can sit down with a music industry professional and they can tell us their knowledge.
It's kind of personalised towards what you want to do.
That's the most helpful thing I've had.
I started an online sessions channel and live events company called The Rhino Sessions, and there's like a team of 5 of us, and we film artists in Leeds, and then we also put them on a platform at one of our showcase nights in Leeds, and then we also promote them as well, sometimes share their events.
The main opportunity I've had is to manage the SU Camera Art Orchestra. That's an orchestra of 45 people, so it's gaining me knowledge in how to manage people as well as manage a collective of musicians, as well as plan tours, book events, market for the events.
So rotation Thursday, it's an opportunity for DJs to have a platform.
We ran a second year event in Outlaws Yacht Club, and I was like the events manager for that, and that gave me a lot of insight into how to run my own event that I do now.
We do a variety of different masterclasses where we have people that work within the industry come and give talks. Sometimes they're specialists in their field.
The facilities at Leeds College of Music, I think, are brilliant.
At the minute, we're sat in the new Level 5 Business Hub.
It's more of a real world example where you would meet somebody in an informal setting and you would discuss stuff.
And the new library as well, that's amazing.
And you've got the cafe bar where if you want you can get a snack, but you can also put on a gig or a DJ event in there yourself.
By studying business, I've developed on contractual agreements, finance, which I didn't have a clue about before.
One of my favourite things on the course was the music law module. It gave me so much knowledge with the foundations of writing a contract that I've actually managed to write one myself and for my own things.
Everything really, marketing plans, it's helped everything, and then obviously now I'm able to run my own business. Even the venues are so supportive with everything that we do at Leeds College of Music.
And with the Rhino sessions I can go and ask if I can put on an event. If they know you're from Leeds College of Music, they're always really willing to work with you.
As soon as you say you're from Leeds College of Music, they want it to help you straight away.
Music community here is amazing.
So while you're here at Leeds College of Music, you'll have the opportunity to be able to collaborate with people from every part of the music industry.
You've got every single type of genre from any kind of person you could possibly think of.
Open your mind to different genres and different opportunities that maybe wouldn't present themselves in a traditional setting.
It's a great atmosphere to support you. They're also really encouraging.
Yeah, being at Leeds College of Music has definitely prepared me to go out into the music industry.
It's given me a great broad knowledge about the whole industry. So I know about contracts, I know about marketing, I know how to artist manage. I've also had experience of doing the sound engineering side of the gig, how to do the box office.
At the minute, I'm running my own events company. So it's proved that, and I'm confident enough to be able to run it.
So I'd highly recommend Leeds College of Music to anyone who's wanting to go into the music industry.
I hope that was helpful. I don't think I'm maybe still double checking. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. I think it really encapsulates sort of what we do well. It's nice to see all of those past students. They're all now currently working in the industry, being successful. Charlie's been out, working on festivals, managing festivals internationally. I know he just got back from Costa Rica. Liz is still running her events companies. Niall's gone on to work for PRS, one of our collection agency here in the UK. And he's been nominated for various sorts of 30 under 30 type awards. So a lot of these students, like I say, we give you hopefully the stepping stones and the tools you need to go out there and sort of find what you want to do in the industry. And something that we really, is very important to us is, recognizing that you are all unique and you all have sort of different ideas of what you want to do in the industry and how you want to get there. And the way that, our sort of modules and assessments are designed is to hopefully give you the opportunity to think about it in ways in which things that you're interested in, and be able to explore, evaluate and analyze parts of the industry that you eventually want to go on and work in. Some of our students come in knowing exactly what they want to do. Some of them come in saying, I have no idea what I want to do. And then there's a few that come in and, they know exactly what they want to do. And by the time they get to the end of they're going to do something completely different. Sometimes right after they take their copyright and contract law class, which everyone dreads and then ends up absolutely loving. We really give you the opportunity to sort of, especially in your second and third year, pick a sort of between a suite of different sort of professional studies modules. So you are, not necessarily having to only do business modules. We give you the opportunity to take, introduction to music tech, or if you are a musician yourself and interested in sort of community music, you might think about ways of taking modules that relate to that. And there are opportunities to also just focus on entrepreneurship. And other types of marketing modules as well. But we do recognize that a lot of our students and a lot of our potential students are performers themselves, maybe recognizing that, I like performing, but I also might like to do other things. I also want to see what else is out there for me, or maybe I want to perform, but just for myself. I don't want to make it a career, but what I want to do is work in music, and I want to help a bunch of other people and, you know, keep the playing for myself. We really thrive and promote collaboration within the conservatoire. You are sort of uniquely placed in a small specialist institution where everyone is young and hungry and idealistic. You know, all the performers, everyone's going to headline Wembley, everyone's going to open their own show on the West End. And what we really do is, you know, immerse you in this sort of community where you're able to sort of get in on the ground floor with these students, start working with people that might go on to be the future stars of tomorrow. And I don't know, has that been your experience, Taiwo? Have you felt really sort of enlivened by the sort of creative community at the Conservatoire?
Yes, one thing I definitely love about Leeds Conservatoire is the fact that like you get the opportunity to collaborate with a lot of people, like, and it doesn't even really matter what course they're on, whether they're on business or production or pop, whichever course they're on, you're able to collaborate with loads of different people and you get to meet loads of different like musicians and you get to work with them, and it's a really great place to be, really, to be surrounded by different musicians. And
yeah, and I think it's something, you know, it's as I always say, you know, you get to come to uni every day and just talk about music and think about music with a bunch of other people that want to talk about music and think about music. And it's a really unique and special place to be, I think. Again, we really think about, you know, the way in which we want to support all of our students in, you know, sort of their, you know, their varied paths and the varied paths they want to take to success. We recognize that everyone will have different interests and different goals. You know, we do get some students that are performers and say, actually, I am going to go on and headline Wembley, but I need to know how to do it all for myself. You know, I don't want to sign a bad contract. I want to be able to understand how to market myself, you know, more efficiently. I want to get a record label deal, which means I have to be able to do this all myself before anyone's going to come knocking. What we really can try and do is help you build that network from day one, not, you know, both with the students that attend the Conservatoire, as well as our teaching staff. You know, as Jez said, all of our part-time staff, everyone's working in the industry. They come to us 1 to 2 days a week because they love our students. They recognize the sort of cultural and creative offer that they have, and they want to help you. And then the rest of the time, they're, you know, running record labels or working festivals or, you know, working digital marketing agencies. It's really helping you start to build that network and build that community. And that's something that, you know, even past graduates that I run to 8, 9, 10 years down the line, it's the community that the Conservatoire has created for them. They're still, you know, these people that they went to university with, are still their closest friends, their colleagues. They are working together now, getting each other gigs, helping each other out with gigs, working together in different jobs and different positions. And it's, you know, it's incredibly important, as I'm sure some of you are aware, you know, within the creative industries to have that network of people. And I always allude to this old sort of saying, and I'm not sure where it came from. You know, somebody said that, you know, if you practice your instrument or your craft for 10,000 hours, it makes you an expert. And in this industry, would it not be 10,000 contacts, you know, makes you an expert? And that, you know, coming somewhere like the Conservatoire, it's a great place to really start building that network. Our tutors are experts in sort of what they do. We think about the types of people that we hire. You know, we want to make sure that that we have people teaching you things, and, you know, that they're actually actively out there doing it, that they have experience with it. And, you know, it does give you, you know, really sort of direct links to industry and employment as well. And I know some of our past students have gone on to work and start businesses with their tutors that they used to get their one-to-one tuition from, which again is something, you know, I believe is really important and really unique that the Conservatoire has to offer, is our one-to-one tuition. And I know they talked about it in the video where, you know, you get an hour a week that's as part of the curriculum, you know, it's on your timetable, and you get to sit down with our tutor, you know, and talk about, you know, academically where you're at with things. They can help you with your essays, they can help you with your assignments, and they can also help you plan and think professionally about what you want to do and how you want to get there. And again, that's something that's quite special and unique to what we do. Are there any questions? I'm just gonna just let me know if I need
There
to.
is actually one question that we can take it out about the percentage of students that actually work after the second year of graduation.
I mean, I don't have exact figures in terms of like the percentage of how many of our music business students. I mean, the music business students that I am in contact with, and it might be that actual number might be something that our sort of alumni admissions team have. I mean, all of the students that I speak to, everyone, you know, is employed. Sometimes it's in, I mean, a sort of anecdotal evidence. I had one previous student come to me and she was sort of like, oh, I don't know. I feel like I haven't done it. You know, I'm not working in the music industry. When actually she was working for a talent agency at King's Cross in London, and they were managing actors, comedians, you know, voice talent, and working in this sort of creative field and feeling like she's since gone on and gotten a job at Decca Records. So, you know, I think ultimately it depends on, you know, what the student wants to do and how they want to get there. But, you know, the majority of our students do go on to find a space for themselves in the industry. And a lot of the times it looks like a portfolio career. So one of my previous students who I've just been in touch with, he is a bit of an entrepreneur. So he has started his own business. It's a ticketing company aimed at sort of ethical sourcing, sort of, you know, ethical ticket outlets, and, you know, really trying to think about that sort of big dilemma that, you know, internationally we see run into. And those were actually an idea he started from one of his assessments in his final year of university here. He's also playing drums in a function band on the weekend, and then he's also promoting gigs for a local promoter in Leeds. So he's working at night in venues, working with bands and promoters. And you find, you know, across the creative industries, you find lots of students and ex-students and professionals that are sort of managing what we call a portfolio career. And so there's lots of opportunity for our students, and you know, the ones that you know, that do want to go on and work in the industry do end up finding a place there. Sometimes they're off on tour and in America, or, you know, working festivals in Costa Rica, and they don't have time.
Wow, that's nice. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, in the industry, you know, in this country and, you know, internationally, there's scope, like I say, to form your own path. It's not necessarily that I have to graduate and then get a training contract and then, you know, move up this ladder and sit here and sit in an office. That because it's a creative, dynamic, and ever-changing industry, there's lots of opportunity to forge your own path and make your own way, in a sort of, with that sort of, I guess, that sort of entrepreneurial spirit. And that's something we really try and foster. I'm not saying everyone has to go out there and start their own business, but maybe recognizing that you yourself have a lot to offer, what you have to offer, and how you are going to market yourself can be quite an important skill, and something we really try and help our students recognize.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sort of following on from that, I think it's just really important to touch on Leeds in general and why Leeds is a great place to study. I'm not sure if you know about Leeds. We're in a large sort of county in the UK called Yorkshire. It is sort of, I guess, sort of geographically centrally located in the country. We're a 2-hour and 15-minute train ride north from London, and we're about 45-minute to an hour train northeast of Manchester. Forgive me, I'm sure most of you can probably tell I'm not actually from Leeds myself either. But it is, you know, and in the 11 years that I've lived here, it's culturally, you know, come a really long way. It is a really, really vibrant and great place to study. Between the Conservatoire, Leeds University, Leeds Beckett, Leeds Arts University, Leeds Trinity, you know, like there's an upwards of 70, 80,000 students here in term time. And it's young and it's fun. and there's lots of stuff going on. Everyone will always tell you Leeds is sort of great for a night out. And as we all know, a sort of night out is quite synonymous with the music industry, as so much of what goes on happens in sort of, dark, dingy bars and nightclubs. But there's lots of venues, runs a gamut, from sort of your small sort of singer-songwriter open mic wine bars, your sort of dark and dirty drum and bass venues. We've got underground jazz clubs. And then we also have our sort of larger academy chain, and our Leeds Arena, which attract larger international sort of touring artists. And so there's lots of opportunity to get involved in things. And I think, Leeds is a really great city to be a student in. And Taiwo, I don't know if you want to back me up on that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm originally from London, and I moved to Leeds to come and study at Leeds Conservatoire. And I found that to be one of the best decisions that I've actually made, because what Leeds allows me to do is to actually be in the center of the music scene. And although that is something that is quite big in London, it can be quite difficult to find the right places to go and navigate that the music industry in such a big city. Whereas in Leeds, where it's a smaller city compared to London, you're able to easily navigate the music industry and meet loads of different people. And yeah, it's just really a great place to be, really. And even outside of the music industry as well, I get to meet a lot of people from other universities as well, and it's quite fascinating, the different things that the different interests that you find that you have in common with a lot of different people. And
yeah, and I just think it's always really important to touch on Leeds and why it's a great city to be a student in, and a great city to start finding your feet in an industry, start building a network. And the bars, the clubs, the venues, they like working with students, they want to work with students, and especially our students, they recognize that they're skilled and they've got an important sort of cultural offer that they bring to the city. And so there's lots of opportunity to get involved and try new things. Ooh, apologies. And just briefly, I'll just chat sort of about structurally what a year, what 3 years of studying music business looks like at the Conservatoire. I won't spend too much time going into too much detail about the modules because I don't want to bore you too much. But really in year one, like we say, a lot of our students come to us with varying levels of knowledge about the industry. Some have a lot of maybe, experience or played in bands themselves. Some students say, actually, I like going to gigs and I want to work in music, but I don't really know what I'm going to do yet. And in year one, we really try and give you the foundations to start sort of understanding how the industry used to work, and then sort of how the industry works now. And that's really that sort of focus on the structures and functions and what all people are saying, all these words and talking about all these different types of companies and what does that actually mean. We let you work in a group for a sort of marketing project, again, where like a lot of our assessments, we ask you to work with a real artist and create a marketing plan for them. So it's a lot of it is sort of less theoretical. We want you on the ground in there, talking to artists, figuring out what you want to do, going out to bars and venues and figuring out who's the next artist that you want to approach and try and work with. We give you some contextual sorts of modules throughout your 3 years. And in your first year, it's really thinking about, music and identity, those larger issues about theory, thinking about race and gender and its effect on music, and the recognition that music and creative arts don't exist within a vacuum, and they are very much affected by external and outside forces, and what does that mean historically and what does that mean now. We give you some insight into sort of A&R, which stands for artists and repertoire. It's, back in the day, it was those people out in the dark, dirty nightclubs saying, actually, these guys will be good. We just got to get some leather jackets on you, get you in a studio and put you on a stage. And nowadays, it's a lot more complex than that. But really start thinking about what is it like to write a hit song. How can you hear a really rough cut of something and know that if I just get them into the right studio with the right producer, that it's going to sound okay. And again, outside of the sort of curriculum, we offer a variety of masterclasses, weekly masterclasses, which Jez has, highly involved with, and he calls on a lot of his contacts that they come and they want to come and talk to our students about their role in the industry, and as well as sort of give you the opportunity to start making those connections and introducing yourself. And we also always support students with a variety of sort of trips and conferences. Into year 2, start thinking about sort of technology, the effect of technology on trying to, sell a product, and what does that mean? Again, working in groups to develop an artist. So we ask you to work with an artist within the conservatoire and, create a development plan with them, and understanding what is artist development. It's not just marketing. There's a lot of other things involved with it as well. The big module I know they've talked about in the video is copyright and contract law. Again, a very important module, understanding the basics of what is a contract. I mean, we see artists even today that in the past have, signed really bad contracts, signed the rights to a lot of their own music away, and have had to, do things to get that back. And then really topical ideas about sort of copyright, the law about what is copyright in the UK, as well as sort of thinking into the future, the current debates, especially around things like artificial intelligence and what does that mean. And into your 2nd and 3rd year, like I say, there's contextual studies and professional studies options where we give you a choice. There's a wide range of options. And the other really great thing about those classes is that they're cross pathway, as we would say. So you are taking those classes with other students who are on the pop pathway, or classical students, or jazz students, or production students, or film students, or folk students, or songwriting students. So you're really getting, a good chance to sort of network and to meet people outside of just your course. And in year 2, we actually offer quite a unique trip. We send 5 of our business students away to participate in a music business simulation game in Germany, and that's something that happens in the 2nd year. And then into the 3rd year, there's a lot of freedom within this year. We've given you the foundations over the first 2 years, but by the 3rd year, we're really letting you sort of control what you're doing, let you control, the ways in which you want to articulate your theories, your thoughts, and your ideas. Your big project is an enterprise project where we essentially are asking you to, come to us at the end of it with a fully formed business idea, taking into account, strategic marketing, strategic management, financial plans, legal and social issues around it. And then your final project module, which is you can either work in a group to see, again, a project through to fruition, or for more sort of academically minded students, especially if you're thinking you might want to go on into postgraduate study, is a dissertation module where you can then you sort of pick a topic and we help guide you through the process of individual and independent research. Again, you've got a wide range of options, contextual studies and professional studies into the 3rd year. That again, some of them are more performance-based. Some of them are, business leadership and ethics. We're thinking about things about, the ethical implications of management and what does that mean. As well as, again, our sort of weekly series of masterclasses and trips and conferences that, we like to offer to students, as well as we support students. If you come to us and say, oh, there's this conference I really want to go to, we are happy to support you in sort of getting there. Jez, did you want to have a quick chat about transferable skills?
Well, yeah, just to say that although our focus is music business, the word business is in there and it's highly transferable. So although we always say that if you can sell a music product, you can pretty much sell anything. So there are a lot of concepts which are kind of across the whole business world, such as marketing, accounting, things like copyright, of logos and things like that. And some of the marketing techniques are generally transferable into all sorts of different industries. So if you did set off in the music industry and then decided that you wanted to focus somewhere else, you've not fully committed to the music business. In other words, you've got some some basic business skills, which will set you up very well for marketing anything really.
Yeah, I think it's something that I think can be not stressed enough, is that a lot of the stuff you're learning at university are skills that are needed throughout life. Group work, students don't like, oh, I don't want to work in a group because I'm the one that does all the work and no one ever does anything. It's really rare in this industry. I can't think of a tour or a venue or a festival that I've worked on where I'm not working in a team. I'm not working with a group of people, and we're trying to get something done. And some people are good at it and some people aren't good at it. And you just got to try and figure out how to make it work so that because you all have the sort of common goal. And even now, sort of working at a higher education institution, I work in a team of people, our team of lecturers, and we all are working together to make something, to try and make something great for the students. So you're learning these really valuable skills, time and project management. You've got lots of assessments to do and you need to figure out how to get them all done in the time period and which ones you're going to work on first. These are all really, really valuable skills that are, whatever you choose to go on to do, whether it's in this industry or not, are going to benefit you. So really thinking about, sometimes why we're asking you to do something and the importance of what we do here. As I always say, marketing theory is marketing theory, whether it's music or carrots. So, it's we're giving you a really good sort of foundation, I suppose. Just conscious of time, I really just had the last bit is just some sort of things that past students have done in their third year. Examples of sort of third year projects. They've come up with things like a web app for musicians. A lot of our students are really focused, as I'm sure aware, the sort of idea of making remuneration fair for artists, making things more ethical and more sound, and trying to change the face of the industry that way. Some students have been interested in being sort of booking agents, and creating a sort of online way to book artists. One of our students, she had sort of started working in the industry and was touring as a student here, and came up with a tour management idea for sort of women and people that identify as LGBTQIA+, I think is what it is now. Sammy Taylor, again, really interested in sort of merchandise and this idea of sort of bespoke merchandise that bands could sell. Again, lots of really sorts of interesting ideas and lots of really sorts of, interesting and complex and compelling ideas that, are hopefully getting our students to think about, how they can affect change within an industry and start thinking about what they want to do in the industry, as well as being able to focus on areas that they want to. I always say to my students, write your essay or create your business idea or work with an artist that you like, that you're interested in, that you want to know more about. You're going to be doing a lot of reading, a lot of writing, a lot of talking about it. So do something that you're interested in, that you want to know more about, an area that you want to work in, because hopefully it makes you more excited and it makes it less like an assignment and more like, something that you're doing because you want to do it. And that is it from me. I did include my email there. I don't know if Jez or Ty will have anything to add on from that before we go to questions, or if you don't, it's fine.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend coming to Leeds Conservatoire. It's been quite a great experience. Like, I'm in my second year now, about to go into my third, and I find that I've learned quite a lot from being here, basically, even though I've had experience in the music industry prior to coming to Leeds Conservatoire. It's not just about like the theory aspect of music. It's also like you get to put a lot of things into practice, and I find that really beneficial, and I find that's a really great way to learn. And yeah, I really enjoy being here.
Amazing. There was one actually of couple of questions. So I know that some we already write an answer, but it might be good to also give some more details for the students connected. One of the last question is very interesting. How competitive is to get admitted? I mean, in the videos we showed You show a lot of different students, lots of opportunities. So I also got the feeling that it is competitive to get in. So asking, what do you actually look in an application? If previous experience in the field is something that is worth mentioning, and someone says, I helped with a local festival in Italy, but nothing big. Like, is this something that is worth mention? What is your advice?
Yeah, we don't, I do, a lot of the interviews, and what I really, what we really are looking for are students, that are young and interested and excited about music. And, there is no prerequisite that you have to have lots of industry experience. And most of the students in that video, they didn't have any industry experience before. They maybe sort of did some stage management at their school's, nativity play or something, but it wasn't like they were out there working in the industry. But by the time they finished their 3 years, they had lots of industry experience because they were sort of figuring out what to do and trying new things, like I say, under that umbrella of the 3 years. So any sort of experience is always really great and will give you that context when you start learning about things. Sometimes even now you go, oh, that's why they were doing that. I know that they were doing that and I did that, but I didn't really know why until I took this class. So there's no sort of prerequisite for needing to have had industry experience. And what I really want are students that are excited, that want to be in Leeds and that recognize that it's a dynamic industry, and that are open to trying new things. I always say use the 3 years that you're at the conservatoire to expand your horizons. Maybe I want to put on a gig, but I haven't really done it. Well, just do it. Book a venue, book some bands, sell some tickets. Maybe nobody shows up, or maybe you sell the place out. At the end of the day, you have that experience. And you now are able to learn from that and think contextually, okay, that stuff I learned in class, maybe I didn't market it right, or, maybe I should have sold more tickets, or maybe I priced it wrong because I didn't make any money, even though it sold out. And you can start to really understand and start to contextualize why you're doing what you're doing. And I say within that sort of 3 years where we give you lots of support, and you've got support from your tutors and you've got support from the conservatoire, like I say, try new things. So a sort of spirit, a spirit of excitement and a spirit that's ready to be innovative and collaborate. And that's really the most important part. You can come in with loads of experience, or you can come in with none. We don't, you're all going to be learning the same things, and we all hope that you'll be working together and learning from each other as well. I hope a lot of the learning and enlightenment that our students get is from working with each other and seeing how other people work, and not just us, reading slides off to you.
And I was just going to follow up on one of the other questions as well about career guidance. Taiwo gave an answer about we've got an employability and enterprise department at the Conservatoire. In terms of specific career guidance, it's very difficult with the music business moving so quickly to predict where people end up. And as Colleen mentioned, we did a number of masterclasses, and we've had some fairly high late career guests, who got quite high up. We had someone who was the global head of music for Facebook and Instagram, for example. And just about all of them would say that they started in one place in the music industry with one idea of what they wanted to do and have ended up in a completely different area. So we do offer general kind of informal career guidance. Sometimes someone will come to you and say, I'm thinking of marketing for a particular band, but I haven't really thought, I'm finding it difficult to get going in that area. And sometimes it's useful to then think, well, zoom out a little bit and think about some musical theatre, for example. Can you market musical theatre? Because maybe there's a gap in the city at that point. So because it's very fluid and very dynamic and fast, most of the career guidance is informal and kind of tailored to just whoever you're talking to. Because as we've already said, there's so many different members of staff with so much different experience that talking to them can kind of help shape your ideas of where you want to start in the music industry.
Yeah, and I always, sometimes students, come to me and they ask me a question about this or that, and I go, actually, I'm not the best person to talk to about this. You should talk to this lecturer or this lecturer, because we all have sort of, specialist skills and specialist knowledge, but we're always able to sort of redirect and, which I think is, you get that really individualized, bespoke sort of advice and guidance on what you want to do. I don't know. Still trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up.
Same.
Yeah, even with your one-to-one sessions as well, you do get a lot of like support, not just with your assignments or like you also get a lot of support with like projects you're working on. If you're someone that's quite entrepreneurial as well, you'll be able to receive some support with that as well. And you also get like some career support with just trying to figure out which way a route to take in regards to where you want to go, basically.
Another question was about flexibility. So students were a little bit concerned about working and studying at the same time, and I would say is actually doable. I don't know if you want to say a little bit more about your experience, because you're also asking about how expensive it is to live in Leeds. So maybe you can give some insight on this and if it's possible to actually coordinate the two, while I'm actually putting a very useful link that you can chat with the students, because I guess is very important also to hear their experience. So Tara, if you want to tell us more about studying and working.
Yeah, I mean, with studying and working, you have to find a balance. Like you have to find a way to work around it. And luckily, Leeds is a city where there's a lot of students, and a lot of the employers around understand that it is a city filled with students, and there will be people who aren't able to work at certain times. So they are quite flexible in terms of the hours that you work, and they're quite understanding. Like, for example, I'm actually at work at the moment, and my employer is fine with that because he understood that I needed to take my break at a certain time because I had a commitment. And it's just things like that. You're able to you're able to work around that basically and find the balance that works for you. And with the course I found at Leeds Conservatoire, you're able to find what days you're available to work. And even if you've found a job that's not as flexible, you're able to speak to members of staff, and they're usually able to help you try and navigate that and see what other times work better, whether you can switch to a later class, because there are some classes that are split into two groups due to size, and you can somehow see if you can join the later group or be as part of the earlier group. So yeah, there's a way to work around it. And in terms of Leeds being an expensive city, I would definitely say that it's not. Coming from London, I know I know that things can be more expensive than they are here. And I found that it's quite, although it's not expensive, you still have to know how to manage your money and be good with that. And luckily, the university provides support with that as well. So, yeah.
Great. One of the students was asking about the opportunity to spend a period abroad, and actually Victoria mentioned about an experience in Germany, a simulation week in Germany. So I don't know if you would like to tell us more about this and how it works, if all the students are involved or only some students of the class.
Yeah, so it's an international partnership that we have with Pop Academy in Mannheim in Germany. So they're sort of similar to what we do in thinking about sort of contemporary and current music. And together with there's the Herman Brood Academy in the Netherlands. There is Ballet Vermont in Ireland. We work with Columbia College in Chicago and Linnaeus University in Sweden. And all of us sort of collectively plan this week. It's a songwriting camp. And then attached to it is our international band, our international business camp, where we, as a program, send 5 students. So there is a process. We ask students to submit a sort of application, really, which is just a video of them sort of, talking about an artist that they like, really. And then we go through a process, and the top 5 students, we then send them for a week in February. So we pay for that. We pay for the flights. All of your meals are included. And so we support that sort of, financially, and then we pay for, the accommodation and everything whilst you're there. And it is, whilst we don't get into the specifics of what happens at the business game, because it's something that the less the students know, really, by the time they get there, the better. But it is an industry simulation game. It happens over sort of a 24-hour period, so everyone's working nonstop. And an hour in real time is a month in the music industry. And the tutors, myself and other tutors that go from across the other universities, there's lots of role playing. We come up with different scenarios. Things are always happening, and students are really put into their paces. And whilst yes, it's sort of imaginary, when you're in it, I think sometimes students forget that it's not actually real, because it's that intense and it's that exciting. But everyone, I think, that leaves there really leaves with a sense of a sense of accomplishment, and a lot of times a lot of like personal growth, actually recognizing what you're able to do. I know, Taiwo, you went this year. Did you have anything to add about Germany?
Yeah, it was quite an interesting experience. Yeah, there was a lot happening, like in terms of like the actual project itself, and like it's an experience that definitely teaches you a lot, not just about yourself, but also about the industry. And you have to be able to like think quickly on your feet and just like navigate different scenarios, and just that's what you would expect in the industry anyway. So yeah, it's something I'll definitely recommend like taking part in. And I'm like just really happy. I was really happy to be there as well. Like even like the project aside and everything, just to be able to meet like other musicians from across the world, really. Like there were a lot of students from like America that I still like talk to today, and there are students from Ireland as well that I still keep in touch with, and it was just really good to like get to know other people from other areas, like other parts of the world, really. So yeah.
And just another way to again build that network and build that international community.
I really like the fact that you mentioned lots of time like networking and teamwork. I think, I mean, this is great. And before you talked about transferable skills, and this is something definitely that for all the students would be useful in their life, no matter what, they'll be their career. So I think this is great. I can see there is a Colleen email address, but also Victoria kindly put a general email address. So in case you have more specific question after the webinar, there's also these international email address that you can contact. The webinar is recorded, so of course we will be sharing with you the recording of the events and some like key aspects, but in case you have specific question, as you can see, the team is very much approachable. You have the opportunity to chat with students, to ask questions that you'd like, to dive it deep into at this email address, and they be able to support. We're going towards the end of our webinar, and it is a real pleasure to find out more about Leeds Conservatoire. And I have to say, it's very, very interesting, like all the offering and all of this. And actually, Victoria was mentioning about scholarships, because it is something that came up, for example, the cost of living, the courses, can I work while studying? So as you can see, the team is approachable, can support also like in financial way. I'm going to link some more information about scholarships, because we all know that moving to different countries can have also this sort of financial questions. So moving towards the end of our conversation, I wanted to ask you all if there is anything else that you wanted to tell our students, if there is some specific deadline that you'd like to share, any sort of advice, anything that you believe could be useful. And in the meantime, for whoever attended that is requesting a certificate from Docsity, I'm going to put a link into the chat. So anything that you like to share with the audience before leaving for tonight?
That was one thing I was going to mention, that I wanted to say as well, there, like, if you're someone that's quite shy and finds it difficult to make friends, there are societies that are around in the university that you can take part in. So like whatever hobbies that you have, you can always find like a group of people that like the same things, and you can get to make friends that way. So yeah, keep that in mind.
Yeah, and I think Leeds in general has a thriving international student community. Like I say, between all the other universities as well. It's a great place to be a student in, and I think really it's just about, I want students, that are excited and want to try new things. Don't feel like you have to have any industry experience. I knew I wanted to work in music when I was 16 because I loved music. It was the only thing that made sense to me. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that it had to be in music. And I figured out over the course of, however many years, what that was going to look like. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know exactly, this is exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go study this. And that's okay. It's okay to just say, actually, I love going to gigs. And I want to learn more about what it means to put those gigs on. And if just, come with an open mind and an open heart, and we'll welcome you.
Thank you, Jed. I don't know if there was anything else that you wanted to add.
No, just to say thank you for attending, and yes, I do. There's a lot to digest, really, that we've kind of covered. A lot of things to think about. But overall, I've been in the music industry my whole life since I was at school, and I still enjoy it. And I wish there'd been something like this when I started out. When I started out, you had to order one book from America that was about the music business, but there was very little. But this is a real opportunity. Had it been there when I started out, I would definitely have considered a course like this, because it just gives the opportunity to explore lots of different areas and really saves you a lot of time. I think that you can learn in 3 years the course what it might take you 10 years of practical experience sometimes, I think.
Absolutely. And linking to what Taiwo was saying, so don't be shy if you do have questions. Also, if you're not sure if this could be the right path for you, really send an email out. I mean, as you can see, the team is very much approachable. Talk to other students, check the website, because it is going to make a difference. So being unsure, there's nothing wrong with that. So, but do ask questions. And it was great to see all of you connected, all of your questions. As I said, we're going to be following up with the recording of the event, some useful information, and we really hope to get to hear from you if you have a question about Leeds Conservatoire. And hopefully some of you will actually be part of this experience. So thank you so much. Thanks for our panelists and for all of you to be connected. And we look forward to seeing you at the next live webinar. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.